Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of TJ Hates Quitters over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. Katie and I are back to recap episode 2 of the Challenge 38. Katie, how are you this evening?
I am doing pretty well. How are you?
I am great. I today feels weird because I took PTO Friday, Monday, so I don't know like what day of the
Oh,
week
so
it
this
is
is
right
your
now.
Monday.
Yeah, it's my Monday,
This
but
like almost
it
feels like my Monday, even though it's Tuesday for me. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
yeah, dates have just, I don't understand days of the week anymore, really,
No.
since leaving teaching. It takes me a minute to figure out not just what day it is, but like what month it is. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I get
but
it.
I'm good. I got to go on a little trip this weekend, but we're back. We get to talk about the challenge. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm actually like really excited to talk about this because I feel like there's more big concepts to talk about here
Yeah.
than maybe your average episode. So
Yeah.
I'm ready to dive right in. We, first of all, I'm no notes, all vibes on this
Okay. Love
episode.
it. Love vibes.
So putting that out there, but I did pay a lot of attention.
Great.
And the episode, well, episode one ended with Johnny Bananas and Nani coming in as the truest ride or dies, according to TJ. And that's where we started off episode two.
Do you think they're the truest ride or dies like of all time?
No, it's probably like Kenny and what's his face?
Evan.
Evan, but they're
Yeah,
not
those
allowed
would
back on.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I would say like Wes and Nehemiah would be more
Yeah.
ride or die than Bananas and Nani. I mean, I get it. Like when I watched like the flashback of like all their history, I'm like, okay, they really have been on a lot of seasons together as partners. So
Hmm.
like I get it, but I wasn't like, super excited.
Yeah, I
Nani's
think
not my favorite. It's Nani really. I'm not a Bananas fan, but I think I told you last time when he walked in, I felt like the gravity of like, oh shit, Bananas is here. But then I'm like, oh,
mhm.
but he's like with Nani. So,
So I think that of a co-ed pair, they make a lot of sense
yeah. Yeah.
because there has to be the co-ed pair aspect to it. I'm not really going to question any of these like ride or die ships because I think that three-fourths of them at least are probably
Yeah.
for TV's sake. But in terms of like who we could get together, I don't like question this ride or die co-ed partnership. I think that there'd
Hmm.
probably be very few people who very few pairs that you could put above that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But here's what got me, and I am not it's not that I'm not a Nani fan, but I think of so my roommate is like a big Nani fan. Like Nani is one of
Hmm.
his favorites ever. And for me, Nani is Nani. And she goes against my one of my ways of improving the challenge, which is if it's
Yes.
been 10 seasons and you haven't won, I'm sorry, but your chance is done.
Yeah.
However, the beginning of this episode made me want to give her an asterisk for this because
Really?
yeah, here's why. I have never seen Johnny Bananas seem more sincere in
Yes.
talking about a partner, a person on the show, period. Like
Yes.
I I was like pumped up for Nani through what Bananas was saying about her and for her that it was I was almost like shocked in a way that Bananas has it in him to be so kind to someone and I'm excited for her being on this season because it really does feel like Bananas will help her do anything and everything she can to get that W. And
Mhm.
it seems like Nani is also in not only like a vulnerable mind or set of mind because like her frame of mind because of her mom passing away unexpectedly, but she
Yeah.
like gets it. Like she said, this is a business trip for me. And we see her kind of
Yep.
be cutthroat in this first episode. And I don't know. I was Bananas made me feel a way for Nani that I have not felt for Nani in a long time.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, actually. And I felt it really during the challenge itself, how supportive Bananas was of Nani. And I was like, wow, that was like really nice. And I feel like I've never seen Bananas actually be so like like really hardcore cheering on and motivating to a partner. Like usually he's really
Genuine.
not like, yeah, super genuine. So like, I mean, we know they have like a really good relationship off the show. So I guess, okay, I take back some of my sass. Like, I guess they really do feel like they are good ride or die partners. But, yeah, I agree. I think part of it is that like Nani has been on on a number of recent seasons, and the seasons themselves have been bad, and she hasn't really been with a cast that I feel like personally like she's gelled with. And
Mhm.
maybe this is like true to form Nani from like back in the day where like the challenge really was like her, like before she took that break, you know what I mean? Like she took a
Mhm.
break for a while and then she came back. Um, I'm still not like obsessed. Like I don't need Nani to win. Like I feel like if she was gonna win, I feel like it would have happened by now. I mean, I don't know, maybe she will this season, but I'm not like super invested in the like gotta get Nani a win storyline personally.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be mad if Nani wins. I don't know if they're my number one pair, but I will say that going from the first episode where I was more annoyed than anything else that
Yeah.
Bananas and Nani get to show up at the end of episode 1, the first like 10 to 15 minutes of episode 2 at least changed my disposition towards them.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, if Nani pulls this off, like I will be happy for her. And I do think that like Bananas do it like I don't know, her and Bananas working together and just the way he was talking about her, it was just kind of like refreshing in a way
Yeah.
that
Because he
like
was showing a
okay,
woman respect for the first time.
yeah, yeah.
That's probably
Uh
why.
we don't need to mention that he actually had like a couple other partners lined up that both said no,
Oh, did
including
he?
do you know who one of them was?
No, I
My
didn't know this.
all-time favorite female competitor, Emily Schramm.
Whoa, that would have been huge.
Yeah, he asked her and she said no. She won't I'm mad at her because she said when Mark Long comes back to the challenge, she'll come back to the challenge. And Mark Long
He's
is
back,
over
baby.
there on All Stars, but apparently they like won't let her take the supplements she takes because she's
Oh,
like
right. I think I
very
knew
like
that.
super into her body and stuff with like which like go off. I support you. And she's like, I'm not gonna like give up 2 months
Right.
of my life and like fuck up all this work I've done because you won't let me take these like non-performance enhancing
Yeah. Yeah.
supplements. So, but
Who was his
yeah,
other potential partner? Do we
I
know?
can't remember off the top of my head, to be honest. I read it somewhere, but Emily Schramm obviously stuck with me because
Hmm.
it's Emily Schramm. I
Yeah.
mean, if it was him and Emily Schramm, I don't know if anybody stands a chance.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that would be like too stacked, I think. Not that I
Yeah.
don't, I personally do not think Johnny is like a fantastic challenger by any means. I think he's good at playing the game, but I think physically
Yes.
he's not like the best of the best. But Emily would have put him over the edge, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I wanted to talk about Nani and Bananas and like I got emotional for Nani at the beginning and I knew I'd heard that her mom had passed away
Hmm.
and I do think that like this type of stuff can happen in one of two ways. It can happen kind of like Devin back in when his dad passed away and he returned to TV too quickly
Yep.
and he was just an absolute disaster or I'm hoping at least in what we've seen in one episode of Nani where it's like I'm doing this for her in her honor. She would be mad at me if I didn't do this. Like I'm I'm going to give this my best and like if I leave here without winning, like I've still done this and she would be proud of me.
Hmm.
So, I'm rooting for her. She's not my number 1, but like I am far less annoyed that Nani and Bananas are here. Banani, I'm okay with them being here after the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, I think it's fair. It's fair. I have some probably non-popular opinions about how they're handling Nani's mom's passing, so I'm just going to keep them to myself because I don't want people to call me an asshole. But you can probably infer that it's not my favorite storyline. Like I don't,
Yeah.
I feel for her. I have empathy for her. I've been there. I don't, I've had a parent pass away. I don't need to go like super deep into
Mhm.
it on the challenge of all shows. You know what I mean? Like it just
Yeah.
feels like okay. I don't know. That's rude. I know it's rude. I don't mean it the way that it's coming out, but like it just feels like we're getting a lot of it,
Mhm.
and it just doesn't feel like it makes sense that we're getting so much of it.
The only way I could see it makes sense is if you were to kind of like step back, and I'll use CT as an example, where we've seen like CT's growth from like doing cocaine in Paris to
Yeah.
knocking people out and nearly murdering them, and his relationship with Diem, and
Mm-hmm.
now he is back and like 41 and won 2 times in a row, right? You've got that like story arc. And
Yeah.
I think that if you step back and look at Nani's story arc from her real world to begin, I mean, like Nani was a fucking firecracker. She
Yeah.
will tell anyone anything. She didn't care who you were. And we saw a little bit of that later in this episode. Not to
Yeah.
full
Well, I
Nani
feel like we've seen it.
alter.
Like, wasn't she throwing like ramen noodles on someone in the Total Madness or something? Like, I feel like that never really changed. That's almost why I feel like the growth isn't there, and they're trying to like put this in as a defining moment in her life, which of course it is, but they're trying to like attribute it to this like growth that we just haven't actually seen yet.
I think old Nani did it more and like
Yeah.
would also kind of like hook up with anyone and everyone, where like new Nani does it far less. And
Yeah.
so I think there's some growth. And I think that like if she were to win, that would really cap off the
Yeah.
Nani story arc. So I could see it from like a long term perspective of like this is her story. This part is a pivotal part of it. I mean, given I'm hoping that we aren't. I think. Let me finish one sentence before I start the other. I I am hoping that it doesn't become like her storyline throughout the season. I'm hoping that we got a lot of it this first episode because we you have her entering a full episode late, and just like the impact it had on the decision, and
Mhm.
especially because like for most of the episode Casey wasn't there, that you have like high
Right.
peak emotional Nani, and not I'm hoping we like move away from it, but I think this episode was enough. I can understand
Yeah. Like if it
too
keeps
much.
going, then I'm going to be
Yeah,
like, okay, we don't need to talk about this every single episode.
yeah,
It's almost like, Corey having kids. Like, we have to talk about how Corey has kids every
hmm
5 minutes in an episode. I don't
yeah,
want this to become that, which, like, I
yeah,
know sounds rude because it's her mom's passing, but, like, I don't think I would personally want to look back on a season if I were on TV and talk about, like, my dad's passing every single day and, like, have to
yeah,
relive those. Like, I just don't feel like we don't need it.
yeah,
Sorry, Nani, not to be rude. I feel for you. Trust me. I'm very sorry for you.
yeah. No, I get your
That really
point.
sucks. I don't know how
Hopefully,
to say it without coming across insensitive. So we could just say them being insensitive, but I don't really know like a better way to articulate my feelings on it.
I don't think you're being insensitive. It's not like you're saying like, "Oh, well, like you're not showing empathy for her mom passing away," but in when you look at it from a TV show perspective, like we just watched a season of Beverly Hills where like Lisa Rinna's whole storyline
Right,
was her mom
right.
passing away, and it's like we get it,
Yeah,
but
that's
and
kind of, yeah.
we also know, especially for Nani in this situation, there's so much more to her. She is, whether or not she's won or lost, she is a challenge mainstay. Like she has
Oh, yeah.
all this history behind her. She's here with Bananas, who she's been in like a situationship with before, who's a prior partner before. Her girlfriend ends up showing back up, who she met on this show. Like there is so much more that I know we roll our eyes at the Casey part because like that sucks and we'll get there. But there's so much more
Yeah.
to Nani than just this that I'm hoping that it doesn't become it's not encompassing of Nani this
Yeah.
season.
Yes, I think that's exactly right. And I think you mentioned Lisa Rinna of it. Like we knew Lois as a character. A character. I'm not reducing her, but she was a character on the show. Like she was on the
Yeah.
show a lot. And like I don't recall hearing about Nani's mom ever, which doesn't mean that they didn't have a close relationship. But it just
Right.
wasn't a defining thing for her. So I don't want them to like make that a defining thing for her when there's so much more, like you
Right.
said, to define her.
Right. And then include, I mean, we'll get into it, but like, does anybody else in the house have the ability, or I don't even say backbone, but maybe backbone to like talk to Turbo in the way that Nani did? And like,
Yeah,
maybe not. I don't think so.
probably
So,
not.
or even patience, I guess might be a
Yeah,
good
or
word
even
for it.
like,
So,
yeah, people would probably be like, fuck this. I'm not even
yeah.
bothering with this guy.
Yeah. So, there's much more to Nani, but yeah, I left. the beginning of the first episode, even I mean, I guess the whole first episode, more appreciative that Banani is here than I was at the end of episode 1 because I was very annoyed by that.
Yeah. No, agreed. I get it.
All right. A lot of the beginning of the episode was Banani. So,
Yeah.
um, is there anything else from like pre-challenge that we really need to talk about?
No, I guess just like Turbo having an issue again for some reason with Bananas. Like Bananas made a joke and he just like really took it the wrong
Oh,
way. That's really
okay.
it. That's all I can really remember from before the challenge itself that
Yeah.
was relevant.
Yeah. We did get Bananas and Devin in a room together. They're sharing a room, and I think that that's probably going to be relevant because if there's something both Bananas and Devin have been good at, have improved at over the last few years, especially, is taking their enemies and turning them into allies. Devin,
Yep.
especially over the last few seasons, but like we saw Bananas and Wes given, I think that they
Yeah.
were like, I don't want to say
Fake
legit
feud.
friends. Yeah.
Fake feud.
It's more
Yeah.
so that like they're game enemies and always wanted to be the alpha and you can
Hmm.
only have one alpha. But those two getting along and Devin saying like, never thought I'd say this, but I'm so happy to have you here. And
Yeah.
what seems like, if not an alliance, at least a truce.
Yep. Yep. For sure. And I think we saw even Nani getting some of the group together, being like, okay, well, the vets have to get together. And I don't remember if we spoke about this last time we spoke about the show or not, but I'm like so not interested in a vets versus rookies situation. We see it
Same.
every season. And like, as soon as Nani was saying that, I was like, this is why this sucks because now Jordan's obviously back. We know additional people
Yeah.
are coming back in the show. Like, all vets, and it's kind of like, why do we do this to the rookies every season? Like, it finally felt like we had a good group
Mhm.
of rookies that were like
Mhm.
joining together. Maybe not even rookies, but like not like the old school old school. Like we had Jay and Michelle who have both been on the show before, but they're like joining with the rookies, and we have Amber who like hasn't really assimilated herself with the old school mainstay challenge people, and now it's just like, damn, we're really like piling these people up against this like new group of challengers, which sucks. And we kind of see it play out later in the episode.
Yeah, I became frustrated when Casey entered back in, and then even more frustrated when we see Jordan enter because of the reason that you just said, which is, I think, like people's biggest gripe with the challenge, or one of the biggest gripes with the challenge, is like you bring in these rookies and then they just leave. And like
Right.
we have people aging out of the challenge. Like Bananas, is he 40 yet? If he's not, like CT is 40, Wes is in his upper 30s.
Right.
Like we've got people who are aging out and we aren't connected to a newer generation. And some of these newer generation people, a lot of people don't like them for whatever reason. And
I think because we
so
don't
when
get
we
a chance to
finally,
really know them is the problem. Like we don't connect with them other than like the Big Brother people who we just don't like because they suck.
right. And it's like, oh, we finally have. I mean, I think Johnny is a worthwhile competitor. Raven has proven himself
Yeah.
to be a worthwhile competitor. I am obsessed with Olivia and Horatio.
Same.
I
Love
hope
them.
I need them to make it through the whole season. The
Me
two
too.
of
I
them
love
are
them.
phenomenal. Like, be back for the next 5 seasons already. I've seen you for one episode, and I am Team Olivia and Horatio. So, like,
Yes. Love them.
let us connect to these people, but instead you stack it where it makes it so hard for them because you enter, okay, bring Casey and her brother back in, even though like she brought COVID here. We get Jordan and eventually, spoiler, Anissa coming in. Like, okay, more vets. Like, it's so hard for them because then just Nani walks in and is like, all right, so we're taking out the rookies one by one, right? And
Right.
it
It's like the
seemed like,
first thought is, okay, we know what we're doing. Oh, a rookie won the last season, last challenge, and then took out, put two vets in and took out Kayla. Then, like, guess we're going for the rookies. And it's kind of like, that sucks because we're finally seeing, like, maybe the tables turn a little bit. And
yeah,
now it's like, oh, just kidding. We're going to really stack this up against them.
yep. It's I am frustrated by that. I'm hoping that like Olivia and Horatio have it in them to like make a run, and I don't know how well protected Johnny and Raven can be, especially with like the formatting of the season. I don't know. It kind of sucks. It felt like we had some solid rookies coming in, and
Yep.
MTV was like, no, we are going to continue to bring you the same people that have been frustrating you for the last however many seasons. So we'll see. I think like the only saving grace is that you've got this sword pulling
Yeah.
thing in the like so that you are going to be able to cause some drama, hopefully. But I don't know. I'm frustrated by the vet stacking. I'm frustrated
Yeah,
by
me
it.
too. Me too. Totally.
Ugh.
Totally. This is the first, I feel like, cast of the challenge in a while with rookies included where I feel like I'm like, oh, okay, I don't like completely hate this cast, which I did kind of
Mm-hmm.
hate this cast when it was announced. Like I was like, oh, I don't care about any of these people. But watching it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, this is kind of gelling a little bit. And I'm like, I'm not hating
Mm-hmm.
this. The rookies I feel like are making a good impression. We have Horatio, we have Johnny and Raven, and we have like, these people are interesting to me so far.
Yeah.
Even I don't remember the name of the German
Colleen and
Kimber,
Kim.
Colleen and Kim.
Yeah.
I they're interesting. They're like
Yeah.
they've been a little quiet, but like I'm interested to see. And I'm annoyed. I know we talked about this last time, but like I'm annoyed that the cast leaked. So Laurel's partner, whose again name I don't remember. I'm so bad with names lately.
Jack.
Who's Jack? Whose names? I'm sorry. Who was able to like look up what her thing was and like totally ruin her strategy? Like I don't like that. I don't know. It
Right.
just feels like we're just setting everybody up for failure, and it's unfair.
Mm-hmm. Support the rookies,
Yes.
2K22.
Yeah.
And I did think, like, especially at the beginning, because you had vets like Jay, Michelle, and Amber who were willing to work with the rookies, that, like, oh, we're going to see this mixing up. And now it just seems like we keep adding numbers to the vets where it's going to make it harder.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. I do want to point out one thing that I did overall enjoy this episode, despite how much it seems like I'm complaining. But I'm complaining about like components, not the overall
Yeah.
episode. I am
I
very
enjoyed it
excited.
too.
Yeah. And I think the reason why I enjoyed it so much is that Fessy didn't speak once.
I was literally about to say the fact that Fessy is like a non-entity this season is the best part of the season so far. Like I keep forgetting he's there. I don't even know who his partner is. Like
Me neither.
I love it. I love that. I love that for us. Like let's keep it going. You know what? Nelson killing me every episode, really making me
Oh my
laugh.
god.
And like Fessy non-existent. Like it doesn't get any better than this.
Nelson is straight up getting the like Real Housewives of Atlanta edit, in just that like they keep clowning on him in
Yeah.
confessionals in like the best way possible, and it
I
does
love it
feel
so
like he's
much.
part of the joke. No, every time he's on the screen I'm laughing at him. And it,
Yeah,
or
that's why I love it.
with him when they like cut him kind of like rubbing his hands together when
Yes.
Olivia was talking about like, or it was something about Olivia and he
Yeah.
like love or this or that or whatever. So
Yeah. That was so funny. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
great.
he is entertaining me, and I really like his partner Nerys. I think that
Yes, me too.
she's like, bring her back. I'm
Yeah,
team
she's
Nerys.
great.
So, all right, let's get into the actual challenge, the daily challenge, and essentially what happens in this challenge is your team, one person jumps into the water going towards the left, the other person towards the right. And it seemed like the man usually jumped towards the left because what each person had to do was climb this rope ladder on top of like a shipping container. And then the guy would run and jump onto a rope swing and land on basically like a massive seesaw, is I think
Yeah.
the best way of
Yeah, that's
explaining
a good
it.
way to describe it.
That had this rope in the middle that you can hold on to. So then once the guy landed on there, he had to crawl up more towards the other end of it so that he could tip that end down, because then the woman would take her rope swing and swing on to that seesaw, hopefully land on there, grab the rope, and then the woman basically had to like pull herself up towards the middle so that it balanced enough where there was this like register. I almost think of like an applaudometer, you know how like goes up
Mm,
and
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you want it to be right in the
Right
middle
in the
so that it
middle.
was
Yeah.
balanced. Yeah. And the team to do that the fastest wins.
Yep. I like this challenge.
Yeah.
This is like the
because
perfect amount of like extreme shipping container hanging in the air, but like also fun to
Mhm.
watch. Like I feel like they didn't overthink it. It was like simple enough. They had to climb a thing and then jump on a thing and then balance it. Like perfect. That's great. We don't need like explosions. We don't need some other crazy ass shit. Like we're good. We have what we
Mhm.
need. I liked it.
Yeah, and it was accessible for everybody, but difficult enough that not everybody would complete it.
Yes. And some of the non completing teams, that was like such a great edit of people just like falling off the thing. It was
I
great.
thought Michelle broke her face.
Me too. It looked like she hit her face on the thing. I
Yeah,
was like, oh no, are we about to have another Katie situation where she's just like bleeding all over the water? But
yeah,
didn't seem that way.
didn't. Michelle lived. So Horatio and Olivia went first. And Horatio especially, but their team killed it. Horatio,
Smoked them. Smoked everybody until obviously.
yeah. But TJ has a new crush.
Oh, TJ's obsessed.
TJ
Obsessed.
wants Horatio on every single season for the rest of the challenges
Yes.
time. Like,
So do I.
I mean, to be fair, me too.
Yeah.
I just love TJ's reaction. He's like, "Oh my god, he is great. Look at this guy." And uh he was just so impressed with Horatio, as we all were. And our
Yes.
chat right now, we have
Yeah. A
two of
lot
the
of
three things
love.
say in the chat. Hashtag Team Horatio from Fredo, Diego, Team Horatio. He's a king. Like this house supports Horatio and
Yes.
Olivia.
Yes. Yes. And Olivia. But I just loved his attitude. I felt like he was like, I love obstacle courses. I guess
Mhm.
his show was basically like just going through obstacle courses. I still am not quite sure what show he was on. I know we looked it
We
up, but
looked
then
it
I
up.
forgot.
It's yeah, essentially it's I think it's kind of like a cross of like Wipeout and American Ninja Warrior, if I were to
Okay, got it.
guess. So this is in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, and it showed. But
Clearly.
I also feel like he has a great personality too. Like he just seems like very lighthearted and fun, but then like also just like killed it on this challenge. So I love both of them, and I hope that they. And plus, it seems like they've known each other for a really long time. Like he seems like a great partner to Olivia. He was super encouraging to her. I just really liked them a lot.
So Diego said Horatio was on Exlaton. If I fucked that up, I apologize. I haven't taken Spanish since junior year of high school. So which is like a Latin American version of the challenge. So he's gonna kill the challenges, which
Oh my god,
weren't they? Oh, go
Diego
ahead.
also says they have feeds, 24/7 live feeds, which, okay, I need to dig into that. But he has social strategy as well. So, like, shout out to Horatio. We love him.
I was gonna ask something and I completely just blanked on it. Oh, thank you, Fredo. He said my Spanish was perfect. But um yeah, I'm Team Horatio 110%. Oh, and he like is a good balance to Olivia because Olivia has a big personality
Yeah.
and he's kind of more on like the shy side, but she also like gasses him up so much and I think
Yeah.
he puts like confidence in her and I just the way he treats her as well is so respectful.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh,
They seem like a really, really great team. I'm really rooting for them. They're awesome.
I love
They're
them.
really awesome.
I'm I will be so sad if they go early and I want them around
Came a
forever.
little close this week.
Well, we get to talk about that. I'm excited for that conversation too. So, other teams that finished include Bananas and Nani and Tori and Devin.
Hmm.
And then they're like, okay, that's it. We're done. Bananas and Nani went last. And they're like, oh, just kidding. We have a different last team to go. And then in comes Casey and her
In
brother,
comes
which,
my worst
what the
nightmare.
fuck?
Well,
What
okay,
the fuck?
we forgot to say that Nam and his partner quit.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And there's a lot of
Penny quit.
drama on the internet with
Yes.
this. She's like really dragging him. And she keeps like calling herself like the queen of reality TV, which apparently she's been on a number of reality shows.
Hmm.
And like Lolo is now trying to get involved. And she's like, yeah, I can get in on this because like she hates Nam for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I haven't really dug too deep into it. I just know that she's really dragging Nam to hell right now, which like fine. And a few others I think too. She seems interesting though. Like I guess I mean it's unfortunate that they quit, but it sounded like Nam was just a really bad partner, and she was just like, forget it, I'm done.
Yeah, I watched her video and she made it seem like um that going there, like, Nam was super excited that once he got there, like, he barely talked to her,
Ditched
and
her,
it was,
yeah.
like, his way or no way because he knew people there, and she's like, "The last thing you're gonna do is shut me up, like, this is what I
Hmm.
do is I say things, I provoke people," and so instead of just playing along like Turbo's partner did, um,
Maybe a
which I
little too
forget her
much.
name. Yeah. But she was like, fuck this, I quit. So Nam in 3 seasons has been taken. Nam hasn't lost an elimination yet. He's been eliminated from 3 seasons, but has not lost an elimination.
Listen, like, Nam, you seem like a nice guy. I just don't know that you're right for this show. And maybe this is just like the challenge gods giving you a sign to just stop. That's just what
Yeah,
I'm getting.
I wouldn't mind him like getting the opportunity to actually be eliminated on his own, I guess. Like, I see why we keep bringing him back because I think he has potential. But I'm also,
I'm bored. I'm bored of Nam. He bores me.
yeah, it's kind of at the point where, like, okay, it sucks, but also there's so many reality TV shows. Can we bring on someone else instead? Like, sorry, three
Right.
strikes and you're out.
Yeah, sorry. So sorry.
So yeah, Nam's gone. His because his partner quit, and um, she called everybody fake. She's like, that whole cast is fake. She was like, I think she said, she's like, there's one person I got along with, but she never actually said what their name was. I was
I
like, who
guess
though? Who do you get
maybe we'll know
along
one
with?
day. I would
Yeah.
love to know, actually.
And she couldn't remember TJ's name. I forget what she called him. I know she said like
That's actually
JT.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's like
She's like
really
an
funny to me.
host guy or whatever. So
I love that.
yeah, but they left. So we keep bringing people back in, which I don't know. I just feel like why?
We
Why?
don't why
Especially because Casey,
why
but why?
why can we do it here but not on the Challenge USA is what I don't understand.
Oh, in the final?
Yeah, like I don't understand. Why do we have teams rotating in and out like it's nothing?
Hmm.
Like if you're gone and you had COVID, like you should be gone. That's it. Like you fucked up. Sorry, you got COVID. I mean, I know it's not always preventable, but like Casey got kicked off of Big Brother All Stars. She was supposed to be cast in the height of COVID, basically. It was pretty much in the height. It was like the summer of 2020. And she was out with Josh partying in a club in Miami with no mask on. Like, she was posting Instagram stories when she was walking her dog without a mask and someone told her to put a mask on and she's like, okay, Karen. And I'm like, actually, no, like, put a fucking mask on, Casey. So, like, I don't feel bad for her that she got COVID again and then got kicked off a show. Like, learn from what happened to you last time. So I was actually very happy. Plus, I'm not a Casey fan, period.
Hmm.
And then when they walked back in, I was like, no, no, why? Why? I wanted to see Nani without Casey. Like, I don't need Casey here
Yeah.
to like also gas up Nani. Like, cool. Now there's like more allies for everybody to work with.
Yeah.
We weren't stacked enough. We had to bring Casey back too. It's just like, ugh.
I also hate it for Amber B because it's like, oh great, she doesn't have Josh, who is uh an Amber B fan, but you have Fessy
Right,
and Casey who have this unnecessary issue with her
right,
that it's like, okay, great, let's isolate Amber B even more.
right.
Um, and Casey's just boring. I don't know. Are we
So
even at
boring.
we've had 2 episodes. Are we even at a net negative of teams at this point? Because
I
I
think we're
forget, like,
probably even.
but they brought 2 teams in to replace Casey and her brother leaving,
Oh,
correct?
that's
They brought,
right. Yes, they
and
brought
then
in Nam.
each
Well,
time,
Nam is gone. They brought in Nam, and now Nam's gone.
oh,
They
okay.
brought in Horacio and Olivia. They're still
I
there.
think
They
that's it
brought, and
for
then at the
that
end of the
part.
episode, they had Nani and Bananas.
Bananas.
So there, we lost 2 teams the first episode because Kayla and Sam went home. So we were still
Right.
not net negative because we had 3 new teams come in and we only
Hmm.
lost one. two at that time because Casey was gone. And now Casey's back. And we got Jordan back at the end of the episode. So
Yeah.
no, I don't think we are net negative.
Like,
I think
if
we're
anything, we're
still like
neutral.
+1. Yeah,
Yeah,
either neutral
it's
or +1.
crazy. It depends on how you want to count Casey and JoJo, aka whatever her brother's name is. Because it
I
will
wish it was
always
Casey and JoJo.
yeah.
I'd way rather watch Casey and JoJo, I think, on the challenge.
Yeah, it will be very hard to not say Casey and JoJo for the whole season because
I
that's
think his
just
name is
the natural.
Kenny.
Sure, that's fine. Whatever his name
Has
is.
not made any inch of impact on me
No.
whatsoever yet. Nor has she, and I've seen like 17 seasons of television with her on it. And she's won multiple seasons of those shows. Still zero impact that she has made on me as a television viewer.
So they show up. They also complete it, but the team that completes it the fastest is Bananas and Nani. And
I want to see those times.
that's something you will never get out of
I know, but like they
the
should give
challenge.
it to us. At least like on Big Brother when they have timed competitions, they'll show like coming in at 9 minutes and 17
Yeah.
seconds. We don't see it in real time as they're competing, but like we'll see it at the end. Like at least give us the full times at the end so we know. I want to know how close Horatio and Olivia came because I feel like this was a Ben situation where they just gave Ben the win. Because it was like his war buddy's anniversary. I feel like
Yeah.
same thing. Like this was Nani's storyline of like losing her mom, and it's like this is time to gas up Nani. So like let's just give him the win.
Yeah. No, I would not be surprised. The least surprising thing here is the lack of transparency. Absolutely. So
Yeah,
um but they win, so they get to go back to the house and make decisions. So we see a conversation that, okay, we know that Johnny last week said he's not afraid to make big moves, especially against the vets. So he has to go in. Who is he most closely working with? He's most closely working with Jay and Michelle, Horatio and Olivia. And then we also just want to throw Turbo in because Turbo's been an asshat. So
right. And he just keeps saying over and over again, "I'll see you in elimination." So it's like, okay, then I guess you want to go in.
So we see the conversation of strategy about those three, but let's focus on Turbo. I think this is a great place for us to talk about Turbo here. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I'm so glad he's gone. I'm so glad. Do not bring
Me
this
too.
man back. Is he cast for Challenge Olympics?
I
Because
don't think so.
oh, thank God. I'm so sick of him. He
I
was
Yeah.
exciting for a season. Like he was a spice of new life that first time, but then quickly has worn out his welcome because there's one person in that house who is willing to give you the time of day and willing to talk to you and put up with your bullshit, and you completely disrespected her. I feel like everyone was
Yeah.
standing around like afraid that he was going to like act on his frustration.
Yeah. I don't blame them because from what we understand, the last time we've seen Turbo is in the pussy chicken fight with Jordan, which like now this is like his catchphrase or something, which like it's not even funny. It's fucking stupid. Like just stop saying pussy chicken. It's not funny. It wasn't funny then. It's not funny now. And he keeps like saying that and whatever. But like from what we understand, that was when Tori and Jordan were still together, and Tori had complained to production that they felt unsafe with Turbo, so he got removed from the show. For some reason he's back on the show and he's really like leaning into this like villain personality and is just exploding on anybody that even has like a tiny conversation or even like makes a joke, and it just doesn't make sense. Like why even bring him back?
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing with him in terms of bringing him back. Like, why? I get it that he is a force to be reckoned with in terms of winning one of these seasons. However, like he's so disrespectful. Like he's just
Yeah,
not
he's
enjoyable to
terrible.
watch. He's not the
No.
good type of villain. Like Bananas is a fun villain. Wes is a fun villain. Jordan can even be a fun villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kayla, in a way, because she's just an asshole to everybody except for
Right.
who she likes. Like these people aren't villains because they're disrespectful and like aggressive, or I mean, you're not afraid of Bananas getting violent with you. You're not afraid
No.
of their reaction where like I'm sitting there being like, Nani, I'm afraid he's going to bite your finger off when you are pointing your finger in his face. Like
Yeah.
I was afraid for Nani in that moment.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna physically do anything to Nani, but like Bananas, I could have seen him do
Yeah.
something too, or Devin for sure. I don't think he would like. Oh, I mean, I don't
I don't
know. I don't
I don't
think
think
he
he
would
would
cross that line,
either.
but like I could have seen him getting potentially physical with one of the guys in the house for sure. Even if he's not, like part of me just feels like it's an act. Like he got some traction from being an asshole to
Yeah.
Jordan, so now he's like just trying to ride on that persona. That's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel genuine. It just feels like he's doing it to like amp himself up as a TV character, which is lame.
hmm I mean, we even saw some of that when he did a front flip off the
Yeah.
starting point for the challenge, where he's like, I'm an action TV star or movie star. Like,
Yeah, like,
I'm not going
bro,
to jump in normal like everybody else. I was just
what are
like,
you in
oh
like
my God,
D-list movies like
shut
straight to
up.
YouTube that your friends make? Like that doesn't make you an action movie star, my guy. I apologize to you.
I just felt like, I don't know. It is 2022. Respect women. And the one
Yeah.
person who is willing to give you the time of day after how you've treated already basically like every single person in the house is like, fuck this guy. And
Yeah.
Nani's willing to sit down and have a conversation with you and you treat her like shit. And
Right.
I'm not saying it because it's Nani. If it had been if say like him and Casey had gotten along in the previous season, I do not like Casey. I would still be here being like, fucking
Sure.
respect women. It's 2022. And the way he was talking to her, the way he would not let her finish a sentence, just was so disrespectful. It just made me so mad that like I do not need Turbo on my screen. I do not. There's no longer the excuse of like the cultural difference or whatever. Like there's no excuse for Turbo's actions and behavior and the way he treats people. He is not enjoyable to watch. Please.
Yeah. Carrie's totally frozen, but I get what she's saying. Like we don't need him back. Okay,
Oh
there you are. You're
no.
back.
I
No, you
was
froze,
yelling
but
that
I think
I don't
we
need.
got most of it. We got the gist. We don't need Turbo back. Like period. Done. We're done with him. Even like that one season where I think it was Ninja that he was fighting with.
Mhm.
At that time I was like on his side.
Mhm.
Cuz like Ninja was like yelling and he was like don't yell at me whatever. And then it just feels like he's morphed into this like uber villain personality and it's just like it just feels very
Mhm.
put on and it's just like this isn't it. Like no one's asking for this. Like just you can go. Glad you got a
Yeah,
second chance or whatever, but like you totally squandered it. So bye.
mhm. And I felt so bad for his partner because she was like,
I don't
I
feel bad
told
for his partner. I don't feel bad for his partner at all. She's a fucking
I
flop and
do.
like I don't I don't at all. Like she could have at least like tried to socially mend some relationships in the house while Turbo's like not there, but it feels like she didn't even have a conversation with anybody and just was just like, "Oh well, Turbo's yelling at people. Guess I have to stick with it." It's like you could like kind of like try and judge those relationships a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with someone it you don't know anybody in the house and the one person you do tells you don't do this and then when like especially cuz it's someone like Turbo and you see how he like treated Nani, who is the only other person he respected in the house. Like, I don't know. She just wasn't put in a good place to succeed. I wouldn't mind seeing her back in like an individual form, just like
Mm,
just to see what she has. Like, I'm not pushing for it, but if she showed up, I'd be like, yeah, okay, you deserve a non-turbo chance. But I don't know. I don't blame her for not going against Turbo because I just don't trust Turbo's temper.
yeah, I guess I'm just convinced that it's fake. Like I'm convinced that he is like putting on an act. So I just don't I mean, I don't think we saw him really like disrespect her, did we? That I'm
No,
recalling. So I
but
just
I don't
that's why
think
I feel like he's like putting it on to like seem like this big bad guy and like it's tired. But for her, I'm kind of like this is like your one shot, like at least try.
mhm.
Like you're in a house with these people, you're out, you're drinking, you're doing whatever. Like try and make a relationship. So people are like, well, Turbo's an asshole, but I really like his partner, so I kind of don't want to throw them in. Like there's just none of that.
Yeah, we don't hear any of it at least.
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever. He's gone,
yeah.
but I don't want him back. I think when I got cut off, I yelled I would rather have Fessy than Turbo. That's when my internet broke out.
Ooh.
Tell me, I
Yeah,
mean,
I guess I would
yeah, if
too.
like if I had to pick, I would pick Fessy over Turbo. And I've said something slanderous about Fessy literally every single challenge podcast I've ever done. So
Yeah, I guess I would rather have Fessy. Although, if it's like everybody banding together against Turbo to get him out in such an epic fashion, I would think I would rather see that again than have to like just watch Fessy play the game,
I mean, right now we don't even have to watch Fessy, which is a great
which I
little
love. Like now we're in
yeah,
a perfect scenario.
yes. But no, I'm done with Turbo. I hope you're never on my TV ever again.
Yeah.
So long.
I think he apologized on Instagram or something, but I don't really know. I can look it up. For
I
some
mean,
reason, I think I follow him on Instagram,
it's
or at least I
probably
follow an account that
because
reposted it.
I can't imagine it's sincere.
It's probably not. It's probably not.
I mean,
Um.
hmm, I
Oh, is
won't.
it gone? It was an honor to be part of the challenge and MTV family. Oh, this is old. So maybe he did. I don't know. I thought I saw an apology. Oh, that's a pin. Okay, hold on.
Nope.
It was an honor to be part of the challenge and MTV family. Thank you very much for giving me the experience. I Yeah, no, I guess not. I thought I saw something, but I guess he didn't.
Bye, Turbo. Well, we'll say bye officially in a
Bye.
little bit. So, um, we have like the interrogation. Is that what's being called this season? I forget. When
Sure.
each individual team goes in and talks to the team in power. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, Jay and Ray or not Jay, Johnny and Raven go in and essentially they're like, yeah, we made a big move, but like Raven's playing her game, Johnny's playing his. They did it. And as a team, they're playing their own. There wasn't outside influence on their decision. Like they made the decision. They didn't band together with anybody. That was their decision. And Horatio and Olivia come in and they were like, listen, you guys could be good. That's basically it. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have Michelle and Jay. And I thought this part was kind of funny. So, like, Jay's talking and he's like, yeah, Johnny's my guy, whatever. But, like, that's what it is. And Michelle just starts crying and is like, Nani, I consider you a sister. You're my friend. I would never do this to you. And they cut to Jay's confession. Was like, is this how you won Survivor?
Yeah, that was so funny. I loved that moment from Jay. That was really hilarious.
He's like, I can't tell if this is real or fake.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
But Michelle was very upset by Nani's move. What do you think of Michelle's emotions in this?
I'm confused. I'm just confused. Since when did these two become besties?
I don't know. I don't follow either with social media to like
Neither
track
do
along with
I.
it.
But like they were only on one season together. And Michelle was out like what in the third episode or something, second episode. Like
Yeah.
I guess they
And
did
that
press
was
and stuff and became close through that. But I'm like, come on. I mean, let's take it down a notch.
it made Michelle very emotional. And
Quite.
this was part of the thing that kind of like amped me up for Nani a little bit more is she basically was like, listen, there's two of us here. We decided what we had to do to make the best strategic decision. This isn't against you because Bananas really doesn't trust Jay. And but she didn't back down. She wasn't too much in it. She didn't get emotional and like she was just like, nah, like I'm here to fuck shit up. Let's go. And if you're in the way of me fucking shit up, like I don't care who you are, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I like that. I also liked Michelle's kind of tactic later. I think she became a little more strategic later on in the episode after like her emotions got the best of her, and I'm excited to talk about that too because I think Michelle kind of like came out in a good light after getting really upset.
When they were in the bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And afterward, yeah.
So the last team they talked to, and I say talk to lightly, is Turbo and Tamara. And basically, like, they come up and Turbo sits down and then basically just like gets back up and is like, do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to put me in. And Nani again is like, get back here, be an adult, communicate with me. Like,
At this point, it's like, all right, just you got it. Just be like,
yeah,
oh well, fuck him. He doesn't want to talk to
yeah.
me. Then like he's going in. That's it. That's the end.
And that's kind of the resolution she comes to once he walks out the room. Like, all right, well, he made the choice easy for us.
Yeah. Yep.
After that, is that when we get the bar scene
I
and
think so.
we can focus in on Nani and Michelle talking again.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
tell me why you think Michelle came out of this in a much
Not
better light.
necessarily this, but I think the way that she was trying to handle the situation with Jay, like
Mm-hmm.
after understanding that, it's really not her, it's Jay and Jay's relationships with people. And Johnny took
Yeah.
such a shot, Johnny and Raven Johnny took such a shot that, like, um, you know, they have to do what they have to do, basically. And then I really liked how she kind of took that, pivoted, and was like, Jay, you have to like get rid of these people. Like you have to cut ties. Like we're burying ourselves here by being aligned with them. Like we just have to do what we have to do. And I like that she was thinking that way and like becoming a little more cutthroat. Like I feel like she took it, internalized it after getting very upset about it and, working it out with Nani and then being able to just like output it as like strategy. It felt very like Survivor strategy to me, where I feel
Yeah.
like, Survivor, they don't like, in most cases, they're not like, oh, I can't backstab anybody. These are my ride or die people. Like, it's not really like that. It's like you have to make the moves when the moves are going to suit you. And I felt like she was doing that here and I liked it.
Yeah. We do see that they end up going with who Jay wanted to go with versus who Michelle wants to go with later on. But I do think that at least we're laying some groundwork for it that, like, Jay, let me do the socializing because it's true. Michelle has more ins with the vets team than Jay does. And if, like, the
Mm-hmm.
veterans are going to come in and steamroll the rookies, like MTV is setting it up to happen,
Yeah, they
then
got to cut their ties.
yeah, unfortunately. So there's that. But I agree. Like, I like that we're seeing Michelle and Jay talk strategy, especially because I think that they're in one of the more interesting positions this season.
Yeah,
Because,
totally agree.
like, Amber doesn't have, as much as she is a vet and is a champion, like, she doesn't have the connections that Michelle does to the vets. Like, when she was there, she really wanted Fessy and Casey to win. And as annoying as that is, that she's like cool with them because they suck, but like, she's still cool with strong players. And then like
Yeah.
Nani's here and she's got like strength on her side where Jay it has the opportunity to like rile the troops of the rookies almost in like a west like scenario
Yeah.
where he has that as well. And so I like that we're seeing their strategy because of their interesting spot within the house.
Yeah, totally. It's like Jay is not a rookie. He's been on what, like 2 or 3 seasons already now.
Yeah.
What is this? His third or his fourth? I don't know. But it's like he kind of gets the lay of the land of the game. He understands how it works, but he's not like super connected to the veterans yet, or at least the veterans that are in the house. So he can kind of like finesse the rookies a little bit. But I think Michelle really sees like the writing on the wall here, where it's really surprising that Jay doesn't, especially coming from a
Mm-hmm.
former Survivor player who made it to what, like Final Four. Like it's not like he went out early.
No, he was there for a while.
Yeah, maybe 6. I mean, maybe 5 or 6. I don't know. But he was in pretty late games, so I'm kind of surprised that just like cutthroat instinct didn't come to him the same way that it came to Michelle. But I'm glad it came to Michelle.
Yeah. Speaking of seasons, I need to bring this up. Laurel has only been on 7 seasons.
That makes literally no sense to me at all.
When I saw that, I was like, this has to be a mistake. Because,
Yeah,
like,
that makes no sense to me. But she does take a long time off in between.
she does. I mean, given, like, she went to, like, vet school and stuff. And
Yeah.
um, I'm, it's just, like, kind of strange because, I don't know, if you were to say, like, name the top 5, like, best women competitors in the
Oh, she would be
challenge,
right up there. She'd
she's
be in
in
like my
here.
top 3.
Right. And the fact that it's only like 7 seasons and it's not a streak like Cara Maria's where she's on however many in a row. And just like the impact she's had on the show, like when Laurel shows up, you're like, shit, I have to deal with Laurel. And that only 7 seasons. When I saw it, I was just
Yeah, that's
shocked.
wild. That's really
I
wild.
yeah. So I had to bring that up. Also in the club, we have Laurel flirting with Horatio a little bit.
Love it. I love this couple, quote unquote.
They're married already. Horatio being like,
In my
I don't know
mind,
how to talk to girls. And Laurel's like, you are right now.
I really like them together. And like if it gets Horatio in with Laurel, like I like that. Work together. I like that. They're both really strong competitors. Keep each other safe. Like let's do something different here. I'm really liking it.
I also loved Olivia in the confessional where she's like, you need a Laurel. Like, Laurel's a Spitfire. She will walk up and say that
Yeah.
she likes you right there, where you're so bashful and just like hyping him up. I know I've said it already, but I fucking love that pair. They're
You can
just,
tell that they're like legitimately good friends. And
yeah,
I really like that.
I agree. I'm so happy that we have them on. So
Me too.
again, the MVPs forever in my
Yeah.
heart are Horatio and
Yes.
Olivia.
Yes. Rookies of the year.
Absolutely. So then we head over to our elimination, and so Banani sends in Turbo and Tamara, like easy enough decision. So the other three
Mm-hmm.
pairs have to go down and draw the swords, and first pair draws a blank sword. Second, I think that was Olivia and Horatio. Second pair, which is Johnny and Raven, they draw a blank sword, which means that Michelle and Jay are safe. So
Yep.
Michelle and Jay have to save a team. And I think Jay has a point in the decision that he came to where he's like, listen, everybody knows that Johnny's my boy. And so, yeah, like if we want to get in with the vets, it's one thing. And I know that Johnny made a big move last time, but if I throw my best friend in the house in there, then nobody's going to trust me. So I'll do that to him, then like I could do it to
Yeah.
anybody. And I think that's a valid point to make.
Yeah, I guess it is. I don't disagree, but I also feel like it's very clear why if you threw in Johnny, like it would make sense for you and your game to do that. Like it's not like you're just cutting your friend's, throat because you want to. It's just like your friend has made a lot of enemies in the house. So like he hasn't really left you much of a choice. And I feel like you can say that. You can just be like, listen, I wanted to go to the end with you, but like it's put me in a really bad position. I need to worry about myself. And in addition to worrying about you, like I have to put myself first. So sorry.
I think that like that makes sense, but I do think that by saving Johnny and Raven that you can still rely on them being there. You haven't in a way like betrayed Amber B and Chauncey who are willing to
Mhm.
work with that
That's
group.
true.
Nerys is willing to work with that group, which then also connects you to Nelson. Nelson has vet
Yeah.
ties. And then in addition, like Michelle is one of the strongest social players in that house. And I do
Yeah.
think that give her another couple days, she's going to be able to strengthen bonds that like you, and I think she can encourage Jay as well to maybe make some deals with the Devils
Mhm.
that I think Jay's point of like, if I do that, then I seem trustworthy to no one. At least with this, like,
Yeah.
yeah, Johnny is my boy and I'm going to look out for him. But I understand for me that working with you, Devin and Tori, working with you, Bananas and Nani, is far better for my game and better for your game than me working with him. So, like, I can politely look out and try not to fuck him over, but at the end of the day, my allegiances are with you. I think that they can. I think it's easier to do that if you don't fuck over your best friend in the same breath.
Yeah, I guess so. I think just like leaving Johnny in the house, who has publicly made a statement. I feel like Corey kind of faced this too, like way back when he was like, I'm going for the vets, I'm going for the big dogs, whatever. He was like public enemy number one for a long time. And so were his friends like Nelson and Hunter, like they didn't really fare super well in those like earlier seasons of the challenge because they were associated with Corey. I kind of feel like Jay is like putting himself in that type of a position where like as long as Johnny's in the house and they know Jay is going to not throw Johnny in if he has the opportunity, like that's going to be a problem for Jay and Michelle. Like you can say to Johnny and you can say to Devin and whoever, like, no, I actually know it's better for my game to work with you, but like I still need to look out for my friend. Then they're going to be like, well, that's not looking out for me then because he's going to come for me. Like, and he's a good competitor. So no matter what, if he wins again, he's going to put 3 vets in or 4,
Yeah.
well, 3 vets in the thing and then like put 1 in. So, I don't know. I guess it could go either way. Like it just depends. Either way, he's going to make enemies.
Yeah.
I just think Michelle's connection to Nani could have probably helped smooth over him throwing in Johnny over saving Johnny.
Mhm.
Like, I think
Well,
Michelle could have fixed it.
the other part, and this is a little results oriented, I don't think it mattered who went
I
in.
don't think so either.
They were coming back.
Yep.
And so I guess, I mean, given like Jay and Michelle didn't know this in the moment, but then I also think it's just uncomfortable to then have
Mm-hmm.
Johnny and Raven come back and be like, yeah, there's these people
Yeah.
I never met before that I decided to try and keep them over you.
Right, right.
I mean, given we didn't know it'd be a challenge where I guess you probably could have guessed from what was there that it would be
Yeah.
some sort of
Like puzzle type.
matching thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not strength.
Yeah, where like Turbo couldn't just drag them to a victory. So that's obviously a results oriented
Mm-hmm.
opinion, but I think that also works out in their favor, at least for the short, like short beat. No, short. I don't know why. What word I want to follow short in this sentence. In the meantime, maybe that's what I'm trying to go for.
Yeah.
My
Short term?
Spanish might be perfect, Fredo, but my English subpar at best. So yeah, the short term, I guess. So I don't know. I think it could go either way. I'm interested to see how it plays out going forward because again, I think Jay and Michelle are in the most unique situation in the entire house.
I think so too. I think so too. I think they're sitting right kind of like smack in the middle of everybody, and it's going to be interesting to see which way things turn.
I also think that the second most interesting position is Nelson and Nuri because
Yes.
Nerys wants to work with the rookies, but Nelson is your partner. And Nelson, I just feel like he isn't the most. He's like connected, but I think he's like connected through personality and not through like someone
Yeah.
you want to keep around for to
Well, he
benefit
hasn't
your
won a
game. Like,
challenge in what, like 52 consecutive challenges now or
yeah,
something?
we might be up to 53. I'm not sure. So I think they're in an interesting place that if Nerys can encourage Nelson to be strategic, because I think she has that in her. I think she has that
Yeah.
cutthroat in her that could be a very interesting placement in the house as well.
Yeah. I like her a lot. I think it's going to be interesting, right? Because she's also in a situationship with Johnny. So it's in
Mm-hmm.
her best interest for Johnny to come back because he's going to keep her safe. He's a good competitor. I think Nelson is interesting because to your point, I feel like he's connected, but he's not like super connected. Like, who are his biggest allies there? Fessy? Like, his other people that he's like in with
Right.
aren't really there. Like, does he have a relationship with Bananas? Does he have a relationship with Devin? Like, I don't really know.
And Nelson has the excuse of like, listen, I want to win. I did this big move
Yeah.
because if I don't, how do I win? And
Mm.
he's sacrificed himself for Corey before. Fessy fucked him over before. Like,
Ugh,
I think that
worst.
he's in a good place where he can kind of like he his way along, and
Oh,
then when he
yeah.
needs to make a big move, he has every single reason to do so.
Yep. Yep. Totally.
All right, let's talk about this challenge because I know we have to wrap up somewhat soon, and I really, really, really want to talk about what happened here. So
Yeah.
this elimination, first of all, I would fucking kill this elimination. Uh, Little known fact about me is that the card game memory, like what they played, I'm literally undefeated in my entire life. I've
Whoa.
never lost. My grandfather used to bring me to the bar after preschool and bet his friends that they couldn't beat me in that game. And that was the only way I could get money to get like pistachios or play more pinball. He would give me $1 and I had to choose. And the only way I could get more money is if I won money off his friends beating them in memory. Because
Amazing.
they're like,
That's amazing.
this, yeah. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I would crush this. This is my challenge. But
Hmm.
there's a big board, and I don't know, it was probably there was 12 pairs, so it was probably like 4 by 6 would be my guess. And um, what you would do is so like let's say Katie and I are partners. I would run over to the board first, and I would flip over two of we'll call them cards tiles. Well, they flip over two tiles.
Yeah.
If it's or the goal is to match all 12 pairs, but you want to relay the information back to your teammate. The thing is where your teammate is standing, they can't see the board. So you have to
Right.
be purposeful in your communication and in your strategy of
Mm-hmm.
how to find these pairs. And so like I would run, flip two. If it's not a pair, I run back, tag Katie's hand. Katie goes, she flips two, and we keep doing this until all 12 pairs are found. So pretty straightforward.
Yep.
I did like that they set up the your path where if you wanted to collide with someone, you could. Because I thought
Yeah.
Turbo would potentially do that, to be honest. I'm like,
Probably
oh,
wouldn't have been the
Horatio.
worst thing
Right, it would
for
give him some
him.
more time. But
Yeah.
I think he saw the writing on the wall as it
Mm-hmm.
got going. So at least the way it was presented to us, Horatio goes, comes back, Olivia goes, come back. Like this happens a couple of times. And then finally, Bananas is like, Olivia, this one is here, its pair is there, right?
Yeah.
And then it just becomes the whole crowd, literally every single player
Every
up there
single player.
is telling Olivia and Horatio where the pairs are, and not a single soul is helping Turbo and Tamara.
Yep.
So I didn't watch the episode until Monday, I
Mm-hmm.
think Sunday. I don't Monday because today's Tuesday. So I watched it yesterday, and but I'd seen some stuff on Twitter and Reddit on like Wednesday night, Thursday morning of people either complaining about or defending the the audience chiming in, and I'm very curious where you stand on this.
It could go both ways for me, I think. Like TJ kind of said it after the challenge and was like, it pays to make friends in this game, like, whatever. Which I understand. Like there is a big component of this game that's social. And obviously Turbo was really terrible at that part. So that came right around to bite him in the ass. Being able to give every single person, every single answer though is like a little, I don't know. It's not my favorite thing. I'm not like mad about it, and I'm happy with how things turned out because I wanted Turbo to leave, and I like we've been talking about, we love Horacio and Olivia. It's just, I don't know. It's not really my favorite thing to watch, and it kind of does feel a little unfair.
Yeah, I can get as a viewer that it's not the favorite thing to watch, but otherwise I'm completely for it. I think that if you
Yeah.
don't want people to do it, then one, you make eliminations where the audience participation cannot have an effect on it. Or two, you set it up like we've seen challenges happen in the past where the elimination happens only in front of the people who are actually at the elimination.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do like the fact that we are stressing that this is a social game, especially this
Yeah.
season, more than seasons in the past, when you're down there with three teams or like two other teams and yourself, and the social component is so important. Like, let's allow, or that social component playing out in the arena makes sense to me. Yeah, and I guess the other thing is like don't fucking piss off the whole house. Like you just need like one other pair of people to want you around. And not
Yeah.
one
And
single
that's
pair wanted
right.
you to help you.
And that's why I'm not mad about it. And I think I would have been annoyed if TJ didn't address it and say, like, that's why it
Mhm.
pays to make friends in this game. Like, look at
Yeah.
Horatio, people wanted to stay, whatever. Then I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, everything TJ's saying makes sense. This is a social game. People should be allowed to help. But I think, like, I don't know. I guess in this instance, I'm like, it just seems like it's inconsistent. Like in the Challenge USA, I feel like there were times where the audience could have helped. And maybe we even talked about this when we were covering it, but
We did.
it seemed like they were super silent and not helping. But then this, it's like, oh, you can actually just like give everybody the exact answer. It just seems inconsistent. Maybe that's my issue.
I also think it comes down to you have to think of who did it first. Johnny Bananas was the first
Yeah.
person to help
Yeah.
them. And so
True.
I think that once that happened and TJ wasn't like, Bananas, shut up. This isn't like there wasn't anyone stopping Bananas, that's when everyone came into it. Where if you think of the Challenge USA, I think the first person who really took the chance and like helping out someone else was Alyssa. I remember Alyssa
Mm,
distinctly, like, I'm like, oh, finally, someone from up
finally.
there is
Yeah.
like yelling and helping. And I think it's the experience of Johnny Bananas knowing like there's no rules until
Yeah.
they tell you the rules. And
Right. Like you can do this and get away
um
with it. Yeah.
yeah, and if they don't want you to get away with it, they will stop you. But if they don't stop you, then
Yeah.
like cool, we found a loophole. So I again
Yeah. I
like I
guess I'm
think
fine
that
with it.
that's in the challenge god's control, where if they didn't
Hmm.
want to happen, don't make eliminations. Like last time it didn't matter what the audience said because it all came down to Kayla and Sam being able to maneuver that maze better or worse than Tori and Devin. And so they're
Yeah.
definitely capable of making these challenges be fair with
Yeah.
like audience there. And I guess like if you don't want that to happen, then don't create ways where it can happen. So I don't know. Again, like Turbo and Tamara just need one other pair to care about them. Just one.
Yeah.
Someone to have that bird's eye view and help them out.
Which
And
is
the
why
fact that
I'm
you
saying I also blame Tamara for not making any
stay
relationships in this
friends.
house whatsoever. Like, if she could have made
Yeah.
one close bond, maybe they would have had a pair that could have helped them. But she
Yep.
just stuck by Turbo and just didn't have an opinion of her own that we saw anyway.
Right. But Olivia and Horatio end up winning by a lot thanks to literally everybody else there. And they're also aware of that, which is nice. I like that they didn't try to like flex on it and be like, oh, we beat Turbo. We took out the Turbo. It's like,
Yeah.
no, all of us took out Turbo. This was a team effort, sincerely, of the whole cast. Like, good job, guys. Now let's
Yep.
play the game.
It also felt like they were kind of trying to hype it up, like, this is why it pays to make friends. And then Horatio
Hmm.
and Olivia were like, we know that it had nothing to do with us. They just didn't want Turbo in the
Yeah.
house. And I like that they
Right.
were aware of that. So they don't think that they're like, oh, we're so popular. Everybody loves us. It's like,
Yeah.
nope, we know that this was just to get Turbo out. Like, we know that we're still a threat going into next week. Like, we're going to have to win, whatever.
Hmm.
So I like that they were self aware about it enough to like realize, like, this really would have happened no matter who was in the elimination. So let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Again, great rookies.
Great
Awesome
rookies.
rookies. We love them.
Yes, we do.
So TJ goes to dismiss them and then is like, oh, wait, just kidding. We're going to bring in one of the best challengers of all time.
He gave such an intro, and I was like, I feel like we're overselling this a little bit.
I was just so frustrated that like we're getting more people
Just bring them all in at once.
yes. The fact that you get rid of a Turbo and add a Jordan, if I'm any of those people,
Yeah.
it's like, what the fuck? Like
Yep.
we get rid of Kayla and Sam, we get a Bananas like and Nani. We
Yeah.
get rid of like why are we even playing this game right now? Stop bringing people in. Um
Yeah.
that they only introduced Jordan. So Jordan is back
Mm-hmm.
for the first time in a few seasons, the first time since him and Tori broke up. It's supposedly Tori's first time seeing him since they broke up a year and a half ago. And something they focused on earlier in the episode was Tori being like, I have done a lot of work on myself. I
Yeah.
am trying to be a lot better of a person. And she was like really emotional about it. And like I've said, I know that a lot of people hate Tori. I like Tori. She's not my favorite all time, but like I'm not actively rooting against Tori. And so I just feel bad for her in that moment of like, shit, my ex is here. Plus, there's the guy there that she supposedly like hung out with right after they broke up. Fessy's there. And given like she doesn't have a relationship with Fessy. And I don't know, I just feel bad for him. Like, damn, that's
Yeah, that's
whew,
an awkward situation to be put
right.
into, given
Uh,
the effect it seemed like Fessy had on their
Yeah.
relationship towards the very end and the breakup. That sucks. It seems like we're going to see some of it play out next week, and she's going to kind of like
Right.
approach him and be like, "You knew I was here, and you didn't say anything to me." Yeah, Tori's not my favorite for sure, but I would not want to be her in this situation,
Right.
especially
And
after like I feel like they kind of set her up a little bit with this, how they like really had her talking about her mental health and how she's in such a good
mhm,
place, and like I liked seeing that from her as someone who doesn't typically like Tori. Like I thought that was a good moment. That I like that they
yeah.
showed it. I like that they were normalizing prioritizing your mental health and taking medication when you need it. Like I think that was great. So then for them to like just like set her up and then just like take a swing at her at the end by bringing Jordan like that, I was like, oof, that's rough.
I do feel that they are trying to, and I don't know how much of an effort that they have to put, and by they I mean the editors, producers are really trying to give us the best positive spin on Devin and Tori as a
Oh
pair.
yeah, yeah, we're getting it. It's really heavy-handed.
Yeah. Given like I want to give them some benefit of the doubt of like they've both been on TV long enough to know that the perception of them, and they said in the first thing like you think we're obnoxious, like we know
Yeah,
like how,
yeah.
so
Well, at least
I
they know.
think there's that level of self-awareness, and um Devin talking to Tori about her mental health and like
And I like that from Devin. Like I thought that was a nice conversation. I'm glad they showed it.
yeah,
It's a
and
shame that they cut them down sort of at the end with like just bringing in Jordan and being like, "Oh, you think you feel good now? Well, we're gonna bring your fucking ex-boyfriend in that you haven't seen in a year and a half."
and then
Surprise!
again, spoiler, I've said it already, but if you don't know who Jordan's partner is, it's Anissa. So now Tori, whose best friend is Anissa, is partnered with Jordan. And so it's like you can't even actively try to get your ex fiance out of the game because then you are actively trying to get your best friend out of the
Yeah,
game.
that's
And
rough.
like they are really setting Tori up for a difficult place here. And I get that that's some people's like dream scenario for Tori. I just kind of like feel for her in this
Yeah, I
because
feel
like
for her.
she's already been in elimination. Like she's, I don't know, it's just it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. I do feel sorry for her. I feel like this is a really shitty position to be in, especially with Festi there. It's just, yeah, it's rough. This is rough for her. I think this is not going to be an easy season for
hmm
her given the circumstances.
hmm I agree. All right. That is our recap of this episode. Katie's got to get out of here. So let's round this up. Katie, what are you doing
Yes.
online these days? Where the hell is your thing? I have
I know.
these
I don't even use
organized in
these
a
things
nice
anymore.
way.
There's so many
So
of them.
I'm going to start
um,
deleting. Go ahead.
yeah, do it. I you can follow me on Twitter at RealSimKatie. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSimKatie with an underscore. I'm actually going to stream after this. If you're watching us live, we're going to play a little crab game, which I guess is like Squid Game. I've never played it before, like a virtual Squid Game, which could be fun. So, you could follow me there if you'd like to follow along, and then maybe some Goose Goose Duck after that. You can also check me out on Silent Podcast, covering a bunch of different things. We have a ton of Big Brother coverage taking place after the season. I have not been on any of it yet, but I will be on some upcoming episodes where we're reviewing past seasons. We just did Big Brother 23. Isaiah had a number of really, really great guests, so check those out. Big Brother 22 is coming this weekend. So with same also really great guests, maybe not the same guests but also really great guests, so check those out. But I will be on some upcoming seasons of that as well. You can also hear Kari and I talk all things Real Housewives on the Cool Water Show. You can also check me out on Fire and Pod. We just had the season finale of House of the Dragon. I think we're going to be off for like 2 years now until we get the next
That's what I
season.
read.
So yeah, pretty rough stuff, but you can hear us talk about it. We'll be recording on Thursday, so you can hear that here on Fire and Pod. And Naomi and I have been having a great time covering Andor. On the high ground. We've only done 2 episodes, but our last episode I was really psyched about. We're loving the show. The show is incredible. Probably the best Star Wars that maybe exists, period. So check out Andor if you're a Star Wars fan and you're not watching it, and then check out the high ground if you'd like to hear us talk about it. I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's
probably.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I am KGD26 on all platforms. My current pet project is over on TikTok. We are currently on day 2 of rotisserie chicken week, which means I am only eating rotisserie chicken for every meal and snack, with the exception of I'm having a vegetable with one meal and I get to use a condiment with one meal. So I'm documenting all of that and all of the stupidity and craziness. I've only had one person so far be like, I'm going to keep my mouth shut as a dietitian. I'm like, I said in the video, don't fucking come at me. Like, I
It's
know,
1 week. It's 1 week of your life. You're get over it, people.
yeah, I'm like, I know I'm doing something stupid here, but not stupid enough where I'm like going to die. It's fine.
No,
So,
everybody needs to relax.
yeah. So yeah, follow that on TikTok, KGD26. And then for podcasts, we just finished up the mole coverage, but don't worry, we've got postseason coverage. We are hoping to get in a bunch of the players for interviews. Here is a little bit of an insider scoop, but we got somebody scheduled for Thursday. So if you are a Mole fan, Thursday 6:30 Central, so 7:30 Eastern. If you're around, plan on being on YouTube and come talk the talk with us with one of our mole players, mole
Yes, very
characters.
excited about that.
Yeah, so that's exciting. And like Katie said, we're covering the Cool Water Show. We're gonna try and get some guests actually right after this. I have some messages I need to send, but we're gonna be talking about Real Housewives over there. And otherwise, I think that's everything I'm doing right now. And this,
Yeah.
obviously. So, all right. Well, um, I know we have this little video thing that I've never played
Oh,
before.
yes.
So I'm
I
going to
forgot
try
about
this for the
this.
first time. But in conclusion, going to round this out real quick. Thank you for listening. Check us out on podcast form, which is Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on YouTube. I love when people come on and talk to us live while we're on air on YouTube. So we definitely encourage that. But otherwise, watching it afterwards too, that's fine. So
Yeah.
yeah, do all that. And then I'm going to try and play this video and end it. If I mess it up, don't make fun of me. Okay, bye. Talk to you later.